Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant demands of society and wondered if true peace could be found in solitude? In today's fast-paced world, we are often led to believe that happiness is found in social connections, external validation, and constant interaction with others. But is it possible that the key to living fully and finding inner peace lies not in being surrounded by others, but in embracing the power of being alone? According to Buddhist wisdom, solitude is not synonymous with loneliness. Instead, it is viewed as a powerful path to self-discovery, inner peace, and spiritual growth. Far from isolating us, solitude allows us to connect more deeply with ourselves and the world around us. It is through moments of aloneness that we can strip away the distractions, attachments, and desires that cloud our minds, allowing us to cultivate mindfulness, resilience, and true contentment. In this video, we will explore the profound benefits of living alone through the lens of Buddhist teachings. We will uncover how solitude, when embraced mindfully, can lead to greater self-awareness, peace, and a more meaningful life. By understanding the transformative power of being alone, we can learn to live fully and authentically, without the need for external validation or constant social engagement. On solitude and self-discovery. Knowing yourself. In Buddhist teachings, the journey of self-awareness is central to spiritual growth. This journey begins with looking inward, an act that is best done in solitude. When we are constantly surrounded by people, responsibilities, and distractions, our attention is often directed outward. We become so caught up in meeting societal expectations, responding to external stimuli, and seeking approval from others that we lose touch with our true selves. Solitude offers a unique space where we can remove the distractions of the outside world and focus on understanding ourselves. In the quietness of being alone, we can observe our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. This practice of mindfulness, known as vipassana in Buddhism, helps us gain insight into our inner workings, our desires, fears, and attachments. By understanding these, we can begin to let go of the illusions that cause suffering. When you live alone or embrace solitude, you have the opportunity to cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself. This self-discovery is not a selfish act, but a necessary one. The Buddha teaches that self-knowledge is the foundation of wisdom. By knowing ourselves, we become better equipped to understand others and navigate the challenges of life with greater clarity and compassion. 2. Freedom from external validation. One of the most liberating aspects of living alone is the ability to free ourselves from the need for external validation. In Buddhist teachings, attachment to external approval is seen as a major source of suffering. We often shape our actions, thoughts, and even identities based on what others expect or think of us. This creates a never-ending cycle of dependency, where our sense of worth and happiness is dictated by the opinions of others. Solitude provides an opportunity to break free from this cycle. When we are alone, we are no longer performing for an audience. We can simply be ourselves without worrying about how others will perceive us. In this space of solitude, we can learn to cultivate a sense of inner validation, an understanding that our worth is intrinsic and does not depend on external praise or recognition. The Buddhist concept of non-attachment teaches that clinging to external approval leads to dissatisfaction. When we let go of this need, we open ourselves to a state of contentment that comes from within. By living alone and embracing solitude, we can cultivate self-acceptance and self-compassion, recognizing that we are whole and complete as we are, without needing others to affirm our value. 3. Cultivating inner peace. One of the greatest gifts of solitude is the opportunity to cultivate inner peace. In Buddhist practice, silence and stillness are powerful tools for calming the mind and connecting with the present moment. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant movement, solitude provides a sanctuary where we can slow down, breathe deeply, and reconnect with our inner selves. The practice of meditation is central to Buddhist teachings and is often done in solitude. Through meditation, we learn to quiet the mind, observe our thoughts without attachment, and enter a state of deep peace and tranquility. When we live alone or spend time in solitude, we can dedicate more time to this practice, allowing it to become a cornerstone of our daily lives. Inner peace, according to Buddhism, is not something that can be found externally. It is cultivated through mindfulness, acceptance, and the ability to be fully present in the moment. Solitude gives us the space to practice these principles without the distractions and demands of the outside world. In this stillness, we can experience the profound peace that comes from simply being, rather than constantly doing. 4. Enhanced clarity and focus. Solitude is not just about emotional and spiritual growth. It also enhances mental clarity and focus. When we live alone or spend significant time in solitude, we remove many of the distractions that cloud our thinking. The Buddhist practice of right mindfulness teaches us to direct our attention intentionally and stay present in whatever task or thought we are engaged in. In solitude, our minds are not pulled in multiple directions by the needs or demands of others. This allows us to think more clearly, reflect more deeply, and approach challenges with a sense of calm and focus. Whether we are working on a creative project, making an important decision, or simply contemplating life, solitude provides the mental space to engage with these tasks more fully. Living alone can also heighten our awareness of the present moment. Without the constant noise of social interactions or external distractions, we can practice mindfulness more easily, bringing our full attention to whatever we are doing. This enhanced focus not only improves productivity, but also leads to greater satisfaction and fulfillment in everyday activities. 5. Building resilience and self-reliance. Buddhism teaches the importance of self-reliance and resilience in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Living alone can serve as a powerful way to develop these qualities. When we are alone, we are often required to manage our own needs, solve our own problems, and navigate life's ups and downs without relying on others for support or guidance. This doesn't mean isolating ourselves entirely or refusing help when needed. Rather, it's about cultivating the inner strength to face challenges independently. In solitude, we learn to trust ourselves, build confidence in our abilities, and become more adaptable in the face of adversity. Buddhism encourages us to embrace life's impermanence and unpredictability with grace, and living alone helps us develop the resilience needed to do so. The Buddhist principle of non-attachment also plays a role in building resilience. By letting go of the need for things to be a certain way, or for others to fulfill our needs, we cultivate a sense of independence and inner strength. Living alone allows us to practice this, helping us become more self-reliant and better equipped to handle life's inevitable changes. 6. Deepening spiritual practice. For those who are on a spiritual path, solitude can be an invaluable tool for deepening spiritual practice. In Buddhist monastic tradition, monks and nuns often retreat into solitude for extended periods to focus on meditation, contemplation, and self-inquiry. These periods of isolation allow them to connect more deeply with the teachings of the Buddha and to cultivate greater insight into the nature of reality. Even if we are not monks or nuns, we can still benefit from periods of solitude to deepen our own spiritual practice. Whether it's through meditation, prayer, reading sacred texts, or simply spending time in nature, solitude provides the space for reflection and connection with something greater than ourselves. Living alone allows us to dedicate more time and attention to these practices, free from the distractions and demands of daily social life. The Buddhist concept of right concentration emphasizes the importance of focused attention in spiritual practice. Solitude allows us to cultivate this concentration more easily, helping us to develop greater insight and wisdom on our spiritual journey. 7. Strengthening relationships through solitude. While it may seem counterintuitive, solitude can actually improve our relationships with others. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of self-awareness and compassion, both of which are cultivated through time spent alone. When we take the time to understand ourselves, heal our wounds, and develop inner peace, we are better equipped to engage with others in a more compassionate, authentic way. Living alone allows us to reflect on our relationships without being constantly enmeshed in them. It gives us the space to evaluate what is healthy and what is not, to set boundaries and to engage with others from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. Solitude helps us build emotional self-sufficiency, which leads to more balanced and fulfilling relationships. Moreover, by learning to be comfortable in our own company, we reduce the likelihood of becoming overly dependent on others for our happiness or sense of worth. This creates healthier dynamics in relationships, where both parties are free to support each other without feeling responsible for one another's emotional well-being. 8. The joy of simplicity. One of the most profound benefits of living alone is the discovery of the joy that comes from simplicity. In Buddhist teachings, simplicity is a virtue that leads to greater contentment and peace. When we live alone, we are less likely to be caught up in the complexities and distractions that come from constantly interacting with others. Instead, we can focus on the simple pleasures of life, whether it's enjoying a cup of tea in silence, reading a book, or spending time in nature. Living alone allows us to declutter not only our physical space, but also our mental and emotional space. Without the constant demands of social obligations or external expectations, we can embrace a simpler, more mindful way of living. This simplicity brings with it a sense of freedom and joy that is often lost in the busyness of modern life. 10. Living fully through solitude. Ultimately, the power of living alone lies in the ability to live fully. Solitude is not about withdrawing from life, but about engaging with it more deeply. By eliminating the distractions of external validation, toxic relationships, and constant social interactions, we create the space to connect with ourselves, cultivate inner peace, and engage with the present moment. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from a deep connection with the self and the world around us. Living alone allows us to develop this connection, helping us live more fully and authentically. Living alone, according to Buddhist wisdom, is not a state of deprivation or loneliness, but a path to greater self-awareness, inner peace, and fulfillment. Through solitude, we can discover who we truly are, free ourselves from the need for external validation, and cultivate a deeper sense of presence and mindfulness. The power of being alone lies in its ability to transform our relationship with ourselves and the world, allowing us to live more fully and authentically. In embracing solitude, we can experience the joy of simplicity, the clarity of mindfulness, and the strength of self-reliance. Far from being an isolating experience, living alone can deepen our relationships with others and help us engage with life from a place of inner wholeness. In solitude, we learn to embrace impermanence, practice non-attachment, and find peace in the present moment. The teachings of Buddhism remind us that solitude is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It is in the quiet moments of being alone that we can discover the fullness of life and the richness of our own inner world. Through the power of solitude, we can live fully, live mindfully, and live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us.